if you decide that you want to preserve your privacy and make sure all the data that goes in and out of your computer is encrypted, then check out NordVPN. My affiliate link will give you something like a 2/3 discount on some of their packages.
The world has failed, I tell you. The world has failed yet again.
You know Munchausen Syndrome by Proxy? Have you heard of that?
I haven't.
Okay, it's a very, very dangerous form of child abuse. Really, really dangerous. It's more known as fabricated and induced illness. And what happens is a parent induces or fabricates illness in their child. So I've worked with one case of child abuse like this. Normally, when there's child abuse, like sexual abuse or physical abuse or whatever it is, neglect, we try and work with the parents, the protective parent, to keep the children with the family. And if it means going to court, we let the parents know, look, we're going to go to court, and here's how you get a solicitor. Because it's fair and just. I might be making a mistake, and people have rights. The state can overreach. With fabricated and induced illness, also known as Munchausen Syndrome by Proxy, we don't tell the parents. So I've worked on one case where a 6-month-old baby, mum fabricated that the baby had a heart attack. And she also had a 6-year-old child, and she took the 6-year-old daughter to school with crutches. Mum goes home, the girl drops the crutches, she's running around. So she's fabricating illness in both her children. We don't tell. I did a whole investigation without the mum knowing that I was doing the investigation. I went to court to get a court order without the mum knowing that I was getting a court order. Now that's Stalinist. You go to court and you don't know you're being prosecuted. It's Orwellian. It's Kafkaesque, right? But it has to be done with fabricated and induced illness, because if the parents discover, oh my God, social services are investigating me, either they stop fabricating and inducing, and then we don't have any evidence, or they do something deliberately harmful to prove that they're right. So yeah, look, can you see the child's got a broken leg, really, really got a broken leg. Do you understand fractals?
No.
Okay. Well, your politics, Sean, I imagine, are what have been traditional conservative politics before we got fake conservatives in power.
Yeah. Right?
Fake WEF sponsored owned conservatives, right? So small business, a respect for tradition. You may be Christian, but at least an appreciation for religious values like that. Small government, people being free to live their lives without unnecessary intrusion. Is that a fair summary, right? Okay. So you're
a very traditional way of living.
Yeah. So you're now
no inversion. Sorry.
Yeah. But before you became a parish councillor, the people you influenced with your politics were the people around you. Now you're a parish councillor for the Heritage Party. Your politics has a greater sphere of influence. It's the same pattern on a larger scale. That's a fractal. The same pattern on a larger scale. So, like the coastline of Norway. Whatever scale you look at it, it's always crinkly. You look at it from outer space, it's crinkly. You look at it from a mile above, it's crinkly. You stand on the shore, you look down at your feet, it's crinkly. It's the self-repeating pattern. So then if you were to become Prime Minister of Britain, fingers crossed, you're not going to sell out to the WEF. You're not going to get captured by them because your party doesn't allow people to join the WEF. But your politics would influence, that same politics would have a much, much greater influence, much larger impact. It's a larger scale. So a fractal is a self-repeating pattern on different scales. And it happens in human behavior. So what I've dealt with as a social worker, Munchausen Syndrome by Proxy, where the parent is telling the child, you're not well. And they're inducing, sometimes using physical or pharmacological interventions to induce illness in that child. Or here's some medication, or here's a CPAP, right? Or you need to have an operation. Let's enlarge that pattern to the national scale. We now have governments and their agents telling children there's something wrong with them and they were born in the wrong body. Telling a 13-year-old or a 14-year-old or a 15-year-old who's going through natural hormonal changes, discovering themselves as sexual beings, maybe gay, maybe lesbian, maybe straight, but they're going through all that turmoil that you and I went through to some degree when we were teens. Telling them, no, you were born in the wrong body, there's something wrong with you. That, my friend, I assert, is Munchausen Syndrome by proxy. Fabricated induced illness. The message to get across to these children is there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. You're a little bit confused? No problem. You feel like a girl and you're a boy? Carry on. There's nothing wrong with you.
To be fair to them, there's lots to be confused about, isn't there, as well?
There is a lot to be confused about.
Just generally, anyway.
Confusion is the natural state of being a teenager.
Of course it is. That's learning, isn't it? Of course.
Yeah. And then it completely delegitimizes being gay or lesbian.
Yeah.
A boy likes, a teenage boy got feelings for other boys, thinks he might be a girl. No, it just means you're one of those men that grow up to like other men. That's all. Nothing wrong with that.
Totally.
So that's my argument, that it is Munchausen syndrome by proxy, fabricated and induced illness being carried out by the state. We're the only mammals, the only bloody, and it's only in the bloody West. This doesn't happen in Africa or in Asia or in the Middle East or South America. Are you kidding? No, it's Western WEF owned mammals. WEF captured mammals who have human beings, the only mammals, have this crazy notion that somehow feelings override genetic reality. Anything you want to say about the Heritage Party position on that? And thank you so much for giving me this platform, by the way.
Yeah, no worries. Well, someone's got to protect the kids, right? And, it's, as a parent myself, I've got 2 kids myself. The only way to stand up, I can see at the minute, or the last year or so, is to stand up politically.
Yes.
Because that's the way they're imposing the imposition on us. So that's the only way to meet it, isn't it? And I do know.
What is the Heritage Party's position on the trans agenda? I know, but for people watching this.
Well, the part in the manifesto is traditional family values.
Right.
So, people can do what they like in their own personal space, but why push an ideology onto children, from what I hear, as young as 5 and 6?
Yeah.
One of my children's 6, and I'm watching it like a hawk, and I'm going into the school tomorrow. We've got a PSHE meeting tomorrow at school, and I'm keeping an eye on it. And
you can't.
I hear so much about taking kids out of school, and then I hear about, that causing trouble with the state, knocking at the door, etc., etc. I know that you personally, I saw one of your videos the other day that you've brought your children up. Well done. Out of school. They never went to school, apparently.
They never ever went to school. I'm not giving my kids away to
No, I understand, but luckily, hopefully, you're ahead of the game, and me and the family situation at home, we're catching up with that, and maybe you foresaw it. I don't know, but we're all at different levels, right?
Yeah, we're all at different levels.
All at different levels. So at the moment, the way it's working is that they are in state school, but we're keeping a very close eye on it. And I will always encourage all of the parents around, don't give your power away. I know that's hard because you're sending them through the gate for someone else to educate them. And I know that the educational part of this is going to come into it as well because of the climate thing. I mean, that's my baby.
Another issue. That's a whole other issue.
Well, we're coming to that though.
Okay,
one at a time.
But I just want to say about the trans agenda, right?
Yeah,
because they are pushing it through schools and everything, and the Heritage Party's position on it is one that I endorse. There's a tiny amount of people, tiny fraction of people who actually do have some chromosomal abnormalities. That maybe they are, right, hermaphrodite or in the wrong sex, but it's a tiny fraction, not the level at which the government are pushing it, which is fabricated induced illness. And the Heritage Party has this very, very simple idea, I got it right, that whatever people do in the privacy of their own home is up to them. Whatever adults do, really, is up to them. Children belong to parents, not to the state. And it's the parents' job to look after and protect and safeguard and care for their children.
Agreed.
And girls are girls and boys are boys.
Yeah.
And some grow up to be straight and some grow up to be gay or lesbian, and that's just how it is.
Totally.
Thank you very much. So I'll have the links in the description below about the Heritage Party if people want to go and check that out. But if you're into silly notions like, well, I suppose, what is it, like the family having primacy, that parents are responsible for their children, then take a look at the Heritage Party. Sean, thank you. Oh, and watch our longer video where we talk more about the Heritage Party and what they're doing at a local level.
Thank you.